Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Edge Outdoors. Bugs on my camera. As you can see from those opening shots, we have a, well, I don't know if there was a sound difference or not, but we kind of put out that little teaser there on the Facebook page. If you guys are following that, you've seen it. If not, you should be following the Facebook page, so go get on it. But I don't know if you can tell from the sound difference. I don't know what this camera is actually going to pick up, but there was two different firearms shot. And from looking at them, there's not going to be much visual. You can tell from the thumbnail. But they are, in fact, two different firearms. And let me grab them here real quick, and we'll kind of showcase them real fast. Okay, so up first, and the easiest way this is going to be able to tell is this one has a magazine tube without the front sight hood. I need to find that and get that ordered. But what we have here is a Marlin 781 bolt tube fed bolt action 22 long rifle. I picked these up at Locked and Loaded a while back ago. Let me grab the other one. And as you can tell from this one, there is not a tubular magazine here under the barrel. Has the hooded front sight, but visually they are pretty well identical. You can see all that fancy engraving there in the stock. This is the Marlin 782 N22 Magnum. They're gorgeous rifles. They were sitting side by side on the used rack, and I could not pass them up without taking them both home, because they deserve to stay together. Now let me grab a couple of the shells and kind of show you differences there. Okay, so this is America's favorite cartridge. Probably not, because everybody's moved on to, you know, the big center fire rounds and handguns and rifles and whatnot. But this is probably what everybody grew up shooting. It's a, what is that, a 40 grain? It's a 40 grain Federal auto match, your standard lead round nose 22 long rifle cartridge. And then this is the 22 Magnum. You can, well, if I can get this back in my finger right, you can see the size difference there. The Magnum is significantly larger. This in particular is a CCI with a loaded with a Hornady VMAX 30 grain varmint round going 2,200 feet a second. I believe, whereas this 22 long rifle has a muzzle velocity of 1,200 feet a second. So quite a bit of difference there in the energy levels. I'm going to shut up. We're going to get some targets set up and kind of go through the differences and show you the difference between them. Okay, time for the soda cans. Thought you can get away from me, huh? This one shoots a little high. Well, let me kick the camera for you. Okay, now we're going to see an energy transfer that's a little different. Okay, so as we can tell, the 22 Magnum definitely carries a bit of a bigger punch, especially with that 30 grain Hornady VMAX round. yeah, that was pretty impressive. I did find out something that impressed me with the 22 long rifle, and well, it's shooting pretty high, but to be fair, this is the first time that I've shot this rifle. And the Magnum, I've only shot one round through. And it was at further distances than this. It just got them kind of close today, so that way we're not just sitting here throwing rounds and missing everything, so because that's boring. Although it does show that I am human and out of practice because I don't shoot enough. But anyway, we did find out that the 22 long rifle actually holds 17 rounds in the tube, plus one in the chamber. That's an 18 round gun, which is, since it's a bolt action and tube fed, state of Illinois, it's still legal and compliant. But it surprised me because typically your tube fed magazines are 15 rounds, but that one held 17. I didn't pay any attention to it. Yeah, this is, and it does say on the barrel that it is chambered for shorts, longs, and long rifles. So that's a little bit fun. We're gonna go ahead and get a few more targets set up and do a little bit more planking. So we'll be right back. Okay, I'll zoom in here on a second, but we've got some Jello cups and some sauce packets from a restaurant that has a little sign there on their drive-through window that says, "Please return your unused sauce packets." That's gross. Don't do that. If they give you too many, save them for next time, throw them away, or thumbtack them to a cardboard box and shoot them with a 22. Just saying. We'll take a few shots with the long rifle first, and then we'll switch over and shoot the Magnum.
There you go.
Okay, now for the Magnum. Did that time. Okay, now we got some unserious string and some lollipops up there. Hopefully we don't miss them lollipops 100 different times. Zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, start with the 22 long rifle. As soon as my earplug expands.
Bye.
There it is. And now the 22 mag. Oh, that one turned on me. Alright guys, we've got just a couple more little targets here. It is April. This is the Easter month. And I didn't even want to buy them because I don't know how people eat these things. They are the most disgusting confectionery abomination that has ever happened. And some of you are going to be unhappy about it, but these things, these marshmallow chicks, rabbits, poos, everything, they are the most disgusting thing in the world. And I'm going to shoot them. There they are, those yucky little yellow nasty things. And they are no more. Okay, what we're zoomed in on now is kind of a little puddle. Is that the right one? Where are we at? Yeah. From what I can tell, we're zoomed in on a puddle there. I'm going to shoot it once with the .22 long rifle and then once with the Magnum and see how big of a sploosh we get.
The one by all that brush. Yeah, that one.
Okay, so there's the .22 long rifle. And here's the .22 Magnum. Alright guys, well, I'm just about out of targets. There's a truck driver out here sleeping. I think we might have woke him up. I don't really know. I didn't see anybody in the track, but started, I don't know. You'll get over it. And dude, if you're watching this video and you got woken up by random gunfire, I'm sorry. But you'll get over it. I think what we're gonna do now is, the sun's beating down on my gingery little hind end. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pack this up and we'll go home and kind of lay them back out and go back over them and tell you what I like about each one. Well, I love them both, but we'll kind of go back over them in a little bit more detail. Okay guys, so obviously it is, well, I guess maybe it's not so obvious. I've got a wardrobe change, but this is actually the next morning. We got home last night and got busy and I didn't finish this video. I just wanted to go back over real quickly, you know, these two bolt action rifles and the differences in them. The biggest difference is obviously going to be the caliber. You know, you're dealing with a .22 long rifle and a .22 Magnum, so they are significantly different in size. And if you guys don't know, well, what I should have done was I should have went and got that little revolver, and then I could have shown you the chamber difference. I might actually put that in. So besides the caliber, these rifles are basically identical, which is why I ended up picking up both of them off the used rack over at Lock and Loaded there in Pana. I'm a sucker for a match set, and they're identical. I had to have them. I gave about, I don't know, I think around $200 a piece for these rifles, so I'm a little over $400 in them after taxes and everything. But the wood on them is just absolutely gorgeous. The detail scroll work and the stocks, I love them, and I couldn't do without them. You know, I'm gonna set a couple of those shells up. I am going to, and I have checked these, they're both clear. I am going to order the hood for this front sight on the .22 long rifle. If you guys are curious as to where You can find gun parts. You can just Google them. There's several websites out there. I typically, whenever I've ordered things, I go through Numerich and Locked and Loaded. That's where they also suggested to find parts and stuff. I've got an old Remington that's missing the butt plate. I've already looked it up. I can find it on there. I haven't looked this rifle up for that front sight hood, but I'm sure it's going to be on there. Of course, the 22 Magnum is also clear, but with that hood and front sight, yesterday was the first nice day that we've had here in Central Illinois for a couple of weeks. It's either been raining or it's been windy or cloudy, but yesterday we had a nice light breeze and bright sunny skies. And I think a lot of the problems that I was having yesterday, well, one, prior to shooting the video yesterday, I had shot the Magnum once and I had not shot the 22 long rifle. So I was not exactly sure where each of these rifles are hitting precisely. But with that bright sun, and I don't think that my contact prescription is quite right. I have an astigmatism, and the last time I was there, they said I had a little bit of nearsightedness. So that front sight post is black on both of them, and I was definitely having a little bit of trouble picking them up. Not trying to make excuses, it's just, that is what it is. Both of these rifles do have the, I want to say, well, that's not, they've got the 22 rimfire dovetail, which means it takes a particular set of scope rings. They can be found, but I want to say it was 3/8, but I don't know exactly. I don't know. Basically, if you find yourself a set of rimfire scope rings, they'll fit if they just have that groove in the top. I'll show you that here in a little bit more detail. Yeah, outside of that, they both perform flawlessly. I didn't have any issues out of the Federal 22 long rifle or the CCI 22 Magnum. Both of them shot. If you guys remember from the last 22 on 22, this Federal auto match is what I was trying to run through that Charter Arms AR-7, which a lot of you guys had suggested in the comments that, you know, if it was a Henry, it would have gone, or it would have ran. But I don't have the Henry, and the Charter Arms is what was available off, you know, or out of the used section there and Locked and Loaded. So I'm going to jump in here and grab a couple close-ups of these rifles. I'll have the boxes of ammunition sitting next to them so that we can, you know, get a good. That way, you know, you'll be able to tell which one's which. The 22 mag does have a sling in the box magazine versus the 22 long rifle not having a sling and having a tubular magazine. I'll grab some close-ups and then I'll go down and grab my my 22 revolver, my single action, and show you that the you cannot shoot 22 Magnum out of a 22 long rifle because it will not chamber. And I can do that with that single action because there's no chance or fear of, not really fear, there's not the unnecessary level of caution of it going off inside my house in an unsafe environment, because the way that they load, you know, you're not going to be able to chamber under the hammer. So we'll grab some close-ups, which I'm going to put in here. That is the 22 Magnum. And there is the groove and the receiver right there, that little top section. Both rifles have that. And then the 22 long rifle. Of course, they're both Marlins. Both have that fancy detailing in the stocks. Okay, so I took the cylinder out of that Ruger Wrangler. So as you can see with the 22 long rifle, it will fit right down in there. Whereas the 22 mag will not. The bullet diameter is the same, the case diameter is different. So you cannot chamber a 22 Magnum round in a 22 long rifle. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a 22 Magnum improvised push rod. Unfortunately, I don't have a 22 Magnum revolver so that I can, show how a 22 long rifle will just about drop through a cylinder. That it will not chamber. It'd be a lot like putting a 20 gauge shell on a 12 gauge shotgun. It's sure it'll go in there, but it's gonna fall through. Or like a 40 caliber pistol round in a 45. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. So there's that little tidbit of information. And guys, I think that's gonna do it, and that's gonna wrap up this here 22 on 22. And I hope the editing, or it wasn't too long of a video, and you guys have already lost interest by now. But if you have made it this far, guys, I appreciate you watching. I thank you for taking your time out of your day to come spend a little time with me here on your phone. Or your computer, I guess, whatever you're watching this on. I just appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more of them, ring that little notification bell, and if you're not already, hit the subscribe button. And that's going to wrap it up. If you guys got something that you're wanting to get after it, and keep after it.